Kanvar gasped as the mountain in front of him blew into a huge column of billowing gray. Dharanidhar veered away from the mountain, as the explosion of hot wind buffeted his wings. The trail they'd been following led right under the volcanic eruption to the slopes of the mountain. "I can't fly into that," Dharanidhar said. "You'll be burned." Kanvar found himself speechless in the magnitude of the destructive force. The hot air made it hard for him to breathe. His heart shriveled, and he hung his head in defeat. A piercing cry like a terrified infant stabbed through his mind. "That's a hatchling." Dharanidhar dived toward the ground at the base of the explosion, all hesitation gone. The baby's scream echoed in his mind, awaking memories of his own hatchling, barely out of its egg, crying out in fear before the human hunters murdered it. The rising mushroom of ash and hot gases slowed, and then collapsed in on itself, flowing down the slopes in a burning whoosh. On the ground ahead, a single light shone out of the enveloping darkness. Kanvar's coat started to smolder as Dharanidhar sped toward the light, oblivious to the heat and power of the erupting volcano. Kanvar screamed as the heat and ash hit his face, and his hair started to melt. Dharanidhar reached up, pulled Kanvar from his riding harness, and sheltered him in his giant clawed hands. With Kanvar cocooned in his hands, Dharanidhar flew blind, the hatchling's screams guiding him. Dharanidhar swooped below the boiling mass of ash and hot gas. Kanvar felt him land hard and slide across the ice. As he slid, he wrapped his body around the hatchling and lifted his wings to form a protective ball. The smell of sulfur made Kanvar gag as the wave of heat and ash washed over Dharanidhar, but his fire-resistant scales and hide blocked the main force of destruction. Kanvar was soaked instantly with sweat caused by the heat. Dharanidhar opened his claws and set Kanvar on the ground. For a moment it was dark inside the safe cocoon made by Dharanidhar's body. Then a soft white light glowed to life. It came from the most beautiful great white dragon hatchling Kanvar had ever imagined, shining from the dragonstone on her pearlescent forehead. Her shaking body was pressed up next to a young human boy. He had dark skin, glossy black hair, and big brown eyes that stared at Kanvar in shock. Kanvar recognized the boy's face from the image he'd seen in Eska's mind. "Denali?" Kanvar said. "What happened? Are you hurt?" Denali shook his head. "We fought a pack of snow wolves." A clear picture of Denali's struggle against the wolves pressed into Kanvar's mind. Kanvar shuddered. "But you won. You defeated them." Denali blinked back tears and looked down at Kumar Raza lying on the ground in front of him. The clothes on Kumar's arms had been savagely torn, his leg had been broken and was in a makeshift splint, and the back of his head was swollen. "Grandfather," Kanvar said, looking for the rise and fall of Kumar Raza's chest, listening for the sound of breathing. There it was, just the faintest of breaths. Kumar was still alive. A spike of joy went through Kanvar. He'd arrived in time, just barely in time. But his grandfather was seriously hurt and would need a good healer to return him to health. "Who are you?" Denali asked. "Are you all right? Your face is burned." Kanvar didn't need to be told about the burns on his face from the hot gas. He could feel the intensity of the stinging heat even now that Dharanidhar had him shielded from the volcano. The hatchling burbled with concern and licked his face. Kanvar flinched as the long white tongue slathered his cheeks and around his eyes. The touch of the freezing tongue stung his burns, but he let the hatchling lick him anyway. "Sure hope dragon saliva heals burns," he said. Denali glanced up at the massive object that pressed around and over him. "But who are you? What is that?" His voice cracked. "You've been through a lot," Kanvar said, "but you're going to be all right. My name is Kanvar. Technically, I'm your nephew. Kumar Raza is my grandfather." "Raza?" Denali said the name as if he'd never heard it before. "My father's name is just Kumar. Raza is an honorific given him after he defeated a great red volcanic dragon. It means great dragon hunter." Kanvar eased his grandfather's torn clothing back to get a look at the wolf bites on his arms. The hatchling had done a lot of licking. The wounds were bad, but had already started to heal, though they would leave terrible scars. "And what is that blocking us from the volcano?" Denali looked around at the wall of blue scales that surrounded them. "That is a very large great blue dragon," Kanvar said. He didn't want to frighten Denali, but he couldn't really hide Dharanidhar from him. If Denali hadn't been so shocked by the wolves, the volcano, and his father's wounds, he probably would have responded in terror to the fact that a great blue dragon had curled around him. A blue glow sprang to life from Dharanidhar's dragonstone and mixed with the gentle white from the hatchlings. Dar had tucked his head down under his wings, and as his stone lit, it revealed his scarred and grizzled face and blank white eyes. Denali let out a yelp and scooted back away from Dharanidhar's giant head, shaking with fear. The great white hatchling purred in delight, hopped over to Dharanidhar, and rubbed her tiny face up against his massive one. Dharanidhar let out a contented rumble. Denali took a deep breath. Frost likes him. She thinks he's come to help us. Does that mean he won't eat me? Kanvar looked up from his grandfather's pale face and icy skin to stare at Denali. You can hear her talking? You're way too young to be bonded, and you can't be a Naga. Not unless your mother comes from Naga lines. I know my grandfather's ancestral line back 20 generations. You can't have gotten it from him. Denali held his arms out to Frost. She ran back to him. Frost doesn't really talk to me with words, Denali said. She just shares feelings. I don't know how to explain it. And I have no idea what a Naga is. All I know is that I couldn't have fought the snow wolves without her. Kanvar remembered all too well how he could feel the emotions of dragons even before he bonded to Dharanidhar. The ground rumbled and shook beneath him as the volcano spewed more ash into the air. He knew Dharanidhar could take the heat, but Kanvar still didn't feel safe. We need to get out of here, he told Dharanidhar. Dar agreed. Just as soon as you explain our relationship to Denali, so he understands that I'm a friend. Kanvar could feel the love that Frost and Denali shared with each other. It mirrored his own relationship to Dharanidhar, though Kanvar would be lucky to get his arms around one of Dar's fingers to give him a hug. Dharanidhar snorted in amusement. Since Denali already seemed to understand about caring for a dragon instead of hating it, Kanvar hoped his explanation would go over well. A Naga is a human that bonds with a great dragon, Kanvar told Denali. Once the bond is made, the human and dragon become one being. They feel what each other feel, share each other's thoughts and emotions. And if one of them is killed, the other will die also. I am a Naga, and this is Dharanidhar, the dragon I'm bound to. Oh, Denali said. His mind went blank for a moment as if he couldn't quite grasp what Kanvar had said. Frost let go of Denali and scrambled back over to Dharanidhar, flapping up to sit on his forehead and run sleek fingers over his glowing blue stone. Denali's mind reconnected. So, you think I'm a Naga because Frost and I understand each other? Right, Kanvar said. Normal humans can't read dragon thoughts or feel their emotions. But Dharanidhar and I can do that, and we've come to help you. We need to get out of here, alright? Denali frowned. But being a Naga sounds wonderful. Why was my father so alarmed when he thought Frost was talking to me? He said my life could be in danger. Is it dangerous bonding with a dragon? Kanvar's gut twisted. Now was not the best time to have this discussion, but he sensed Denali might not cooperate unless Kanvar explained. No, it's not dangerous for a Naga to bond with a dragon. It's a beautiful transformation. The problem is that other humans don't see it as that. The bonded Nagas are powerful, and humans fear that power. They hate all Nagas and have sworn to kill them. My own mother. Kanvar choked and couldn't speak again for a few moments. Your mother, Denali prodded. Kanvar swallowed and forced himself to talk. When she found out I was a Naga, she gave me poison and told me to drink it. When I refused, she tried to shoot me with grandfather's crossbow. Lucky for me, it is too big for her and she missed. She did succeed at shooting my father in the back though. He almost died. Denali stared at Kanvar with big round eyes. My mother would never hurt me, and neither would my father. Kanvar winced, remembering Devaj's insistence that Kumar would try to kill them all as soon as he got his memories back. Kanvar didn't want to argue with Denali, but he had to warn him about Kumar Raza. Your father is a very famous dragon hunter, Kanvar said. He's killed quite a few great dragons. He is a senior member of the Dragon Hunter Council. It's his job to hunt down and kill Nagas. That's why when Kumar found out that my father, my brother and I were Nagas, my father erased his memories of us and sent him to live up here. Kumar would have tried to kill us. I'm sorry, Denali, but it's true. No, it's not. Denali pulled out a hunting knife. I won't let you kill him. No matter what you say. Denali, I didn't come here to kill Kumar Raza, Kanvar said. I had a nightmare that his life was in danger, so I came to try and save him. Even though my father and brother told me not to, I came because Kumar is my grandfather, and I love him. I think it was wrong that my father erased his memories. I want to help him remember who he really is, even if that means he tries to kill me. I only told you how much he hates Nagas, because you need to know before I try to bring his memories back. He might turn against you. You should be prepared for that. He would never turn against me, Denali snapped. Never. Besides, he didn't seem angry when he thought Frost was talking to me, just concerned for my safety. Denali lowered the knife and looked down at Kumar. I think he's dying. He can't hurt anyone in this condition. We need to get him to Kopik, a wise man in our tribe. He knows a lot about healing wounds. I met Kopik, Kanvar said. He was nice to me. We'll need to hurry and get Kumar to him though. His head isn't bleeding anymore, but the swelling concerns me. Besides, we have to get out of here right now, before the volcano buries us for good. How? With the whole mountain coming down on top of us. Denali gazed up at the dragon wings that covered them. The ground rumbled and shook in response. Dar, can you still fly? Kanvar asked. I can if we leave soon, before I get so much piled on top of me that I can't move. The problem is flying up without having you humans burned to a crisp. Not to mention our little girl here. The heat would kill her very quickly. Do you think we could all fit in your hands like you held me when we came down? Yes, but I won't be able to see. Still, I think you're right. It's our best chance of getting out of here. I'll fly straight up, and when I feel cool air, I'll open my hands a bit so you can climb out and see where we're going. Agreed, Kanvar said. We're getting out of here, Denali. But we've all got to scoot together so Dharanidhar can pick us up. Denali nodded and he and Frost moved up close to Kumar. Kanvar eased over beside them. Dharanidhar picked them up in one claw and cupped the other claw over the top. Then he stretched and tried to take flight. Kanvar felt a heavy weight on Dharanidhar's shoulders and wings. Groaning, Dharanidhar forced his body up, pulling his massive back legs under his torso and then pushing with all his might. The load that held him pinned burst apart, and he leapt into the sky, flying straight up. Kanvar could feel the hot ash and gas on Dharanidhar's face. A plume of molten lava licked his wing and trickled down his back. Very hot, but not painful to the great blue dragon. It would have killed the humans if they hadn't been shielded in Dharanidhar's hands. Dharanidhar breathed hard as he beat his heavy wings, gaining altitude, and up some more. How far up can all this ash go? He growled. The heat and the weight of ash and the lack of oxygen sapped his strength. His wing that had been broken a few months back started to ache. Keep going, Kanvar said. He had to speak directly into Dharanidhar's mind because the thunderous sound of the volcano and Dharanidhar's thick claws blocked out his voice. Just a little higher. Dharanidhar pushed himself higher. He didn't like flying blind. He feared that he'd get his directions mixed up and run into something like he had when he crashed into the side of the mountain the first day he'd met Kanvar. You're alright, Kanvar reassured him. You can hear the roar of the eruption just behind you. Use the sound to guide your flight. Dharanidhar flapped harder and burst free from the volcano's cloud. Cold air flashed across his face and wings. He gasped. He was so high, there was not much oxygen to draw into his lungs. He opened his fingers a bit for Kanvar to see out. Kanvar saw the cold twilight sky all around him and the coast far off below. Head for the coast, he told Dharanidhar. We should go straight back to Illulasat. Dharanidhar agreed. He twisted in the air and flew westward toward Illulasat on the coast.